Josiah is in Reading, Pennsylvania. Hi, Josiah. How are you?
I'm doing good, Dave. How about yourself?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Hey, so I am a 50% partner in a automotive repair business in Ole, Pennsylvania, and we have a team of 5. Last year we had gross revenue of about $550. We're aiming to break 800 this year, and as I'm coming out of the treadmill stage, I looked up and realized that I don't really have a contingency plan in place in case my partner and I, something happens. And I was just kind of wondering how to set that up, what that looks like, and what I should be doing.
Okay, cool. You said you're 60%, he's 40?
50.
Oh, 50-50. Okay. All right. You need 2 things. And you need to spend a little bit of money on them, but not a bazillion dollars, okay? You need to get an attorney to help you, and here's your budget. Tell him your budget is a max of $1,000.
Okay.
And I want him to draft you a general partnership agreement. Is this an LLC by chance?
It is,
okay.
Yeah.
Then draft an LLC agreement that has the same features as a general partnership. It's not technically a general partnership. It's technically an LLC, but these are the terms of the LLC. You got a pencil handy?
Yes.
Okay. So the things you need to address, and these are the reasons I don't recommend partnerships, but I want to help you anyway. The things you need to address are what we call all the D's, like D as in David. Okay? The first one is the one you called about, death.
Sure.
The second one is worse, disability.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one of you is still alive but can't work. Ooh, hard to deal with.
Yes.
Okay. Drug use. How you going to separate? He starts doing cocaine. Default. Sure. He walks out of the business but still owns 50% of it.
Okay.
Disinterest. Same thing. Decides he's not interested anymore. Divorce. You don't want to be partners with his wife. Even if the judge said you are.
Understood.
Okay? These are the D's. What I'm talking about is all the negative, horrible things that happen in life, and all of those could hit either one of you, and the one you thought about that caused you to call was death.
Yeah. Well, death, and I did think about divorce.
Okay.
And that side of it, but yeah. Not really, though.
Well, and the other one would be something along the lines of retirement. How do we end this?
Mm-hmm.
So the point is that you start these things without an agreement, and it blows up, and it's turned into a dadgum actual business with $800K top line. Way to go! Congratulations.
Thank
you. But you never entered it thinking how it might need to end.
No.
And you have to think about how you need to end it. And so each of those D's, and maybe some others that the attorney can suggest, need to be addressed. What happens in the event of divorce? In the agreement, and you guys agree on that and sign it in advance.
Okay.
And you can make the terms of the LLC be no one other than one of us can own stock in this LLC. So in the event of divorce, his stock has to be turned over to you, or he keeps it, but it can't be turned over to someone other than one of you.
Okay.
Not your kid, not anybody else. You can go back and change it later, but for now, that's what it is. Okay? So that's an example. Now, then the second thing you need to do is part of this is what's called a buy-sell agreement.
Yeah, which I think I saw some of that. I hadn't thought of the first part.
Yeah. The buy-sell agreement is you get some term life insurance and go ahead. It's not that expensive. How old are you two?
28.
Oh, easy. Okay. Are you both healthy?
Yes.
Okay. Just pick up like $1 million each. Okay. And in the agreement that we talked about a while ago, put a formula for giving a valuation of the company upon death. So if you die 3 years from now and it's running $1.2 million around there, top line, what value are we going to place on the company? And I'll give you a suggestion. Okay. 4 times net profit after all salaries, including you two, are paid.
Okay.
Okay. And so let's say you made $100,000 that year net profit on that formula. After you two were paid a salary, you still made $100,000 net profit. You took 50, he took 50 as additional profit beyond your salaries. One of you died that year. Then you'd have a $400,000 settlement with his widow if he died. You'd have $1 million life insurance policy on him, and you are the beneficiary of it. And you're required in the buy-sell agreement to use that money to buy out his widow. So he dies, you get $1 million from a life insurance policy. You're required to use it to buy his widow out at 4x of net. That's a buy-sell agreement.
And since I know we did something that you don't always like, we actually own the property that the business is on.
Same thing.
Business agreement. Same thing. Okay.
Same thing. It's probably a separate agreement, but it probably has the same terms.
Okay, fair enough.
You would buy out the business for X multiple of net profit, and you'd buy the property out for 50%. Or really, it should be, if you sold the property, you would not net 100% of appraisal. You would net about 88 or 90% of appraisal after expenses, right?
Sure.
So her half would be worth half of 90% of appraisal.
Sure.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah, my estate plan is set up where if some of our real estate, if one of the kids wants to buy the other one out on the lake house with some other stuff, or they want to do a deal, they do it at 80% of appraisal. Because if they all just sold it and piled up the cash, that's what they'd have.
That makes a lot of sense. Sure.
So 50% of 90% or 45% of appraisal, or something like that, and a multiple of net. And you can buy the real estate for X and the business for Y. And as a matter of fact, you're obligated to do so because you're the beneficiary of this life insurance policy, and vice versa.
Okay.
And that's a very standard thing that's used in businesses, small businesses in particular, family businesses sometimes, to buy out the other one in the event of death. Much more difficult in disability.
Okay. And would there be, should we be looking into long-term disability insurance for both of us just in case?
Yes, but it's going to be expensive in your world because you're turning wrenches.
Okay.
If you fly a desk, it's less expensive than if you wear a blue collar.
Sure.
Because it's based on your job description more than it is your age and health, where the life insurance is cheap because you're 28 years old and you're healthy.
Yeah.
The disability insurance won't be that cheap. But check it out. Get with an independent insurance broker and check it out. And you may want to put that stuff in place anyway, and you can use some of that money. You won't be lump sum, but you'll have some monthly money there to support him because he's no longer going to be getting a salary, and that takes some of the pressure off of him owning half of the business. But sometimes people say if you can't participate in the day-to-day in the business, you're no longer an owner. You forfeit your stock.
Sure.
That's pretty harsh, but that's one way of doing it. It's clean. Because it's okay, like the first 2 weeks he's sick, you want to help him and take care of him. 25 years later, you're not going to be real thrilled doing that anymore.
Yeah, understood.
Being forced to do it. You may want to choose to do it as an act of grace, mercy, and generosity, but you don't want to be forced business structure-wise to do that ad infinitum, forever and ever in perpetuation. So, yeah, that's the thing. So address the D's in the LLC agreement, do a buy-sell, put a formula in place, fund it with term life insurance. Now, the dadgum insurance people will try to get you to buy whole life. Don't do it. Buy yourself a 20 or a 30-year level term insurance from Xander. They'll set that up for you. It's real easy to do. It's very standard process here. It's done all the time. And all of these are the reasons that I don't do partnerships, because they all have an end, and it's usually messy. You're in it, so I'm not picking on you, Josiah. But if I'd have caught you ahead of time, I'd have structured your business different than 50-50. Anything with two heads is a monster. The only ship that won't sail is a partnership. These are our sayings around here. But it's because any one of these bad things happen, you got a freaking mess on your hands. And you got no clarity right now. You need the clarity at least, and that'll help you get there.